Thank you for joining me. This is Vicky at patternprincess.com. Today I'm going to be showing you how to make a quick tutorial on how to do a moss stitch baby blanket. These three colors here I've put together. It kind of makes a variegated color, and it's extremely easy to do. I've used a Karen Simply Soft, Orchid. I believe, if I recall right, that is the darker color, the purple. Then there's an iris, this color here, and then of course this color here is white. So I'm going to start off. I'm in the middle of ending a row here, so I'm going to start off ending a row, and I'm going to go ahead and start a new color and the next row, because each one of these is 2 rows of white. This is the 2 rows of iris and the 2 rows of orchid. So every 2 rows I'm changing color. It's kind of a pain. As you can see, I've been weaving in my ends as I go, and I like to leave the long ends at least 10-12 inches because I wanted to, and I weave them back and forth and back and forth. You can't tell on here where I've weaved it in, but I'll probably do, I don't know, 10-15 rows, and then I'll stop and I'll weave it in, because otherwise I just have too much stuff hanging off and it gets tangled up in my yarn, and it's more bother than what I'd like to deal with. So you can see the row before, right here, this here, you can see this is my yarn that I started with, my 2 colors from the row before. So I'm going to do my moss stitch right here. I'm going to stop when I get to this point, because I'm going to pull this snug, and then I'm going to crochet over it, because that'll help secure it. But I still go ahead and I still weave it back and forth a little bit to make sure that it's even more secure. Okay, so without further ado, here we go. So this one here, this is a single crochet that I just, the row before me, before this here was a chain 1. It's a pattern that I'm doing now is done in every row. It's all the way across. So chain 1, and then you single crochet in the previous chain 1 space. So I single crochet, chain 1, and then go ahead and single crochet in the chain 1 space. Chain 1, single crochet, chain 1, single crochet. Oopsies, I yarned over and I did not need to. I needed to single crochet, or chain 1 though. Single crochet, too much talking. Chain 1, single crochet, chain 1, and then single crochet, and I'm going to stop because here's where that other yarn is coming out. And you can see I did, like, I'm going to guess here, 4 inches worth I crocheted over the top of. So now I'm going to just hold this end and I'm going to pull this just to make these snug so that they're a little bit easier to crochet over, because I'm going to crochet over them again. So I crocheted over them this way. Now if you notice here, you can see the yarn here that I crocheted over my 2 colors. Here you can't. You cannot see. It looks really nice and clean. That's because I've crocheted over it back this way now. So now what I'm going to do is I continue to do my normal pattern, but when I go in here, instead of going my normal up here, I'm going to go down here and pick up that yarn and do my single crochet, chain 1, pick up that yarn, single crochet, chain 1, pick up that yarn, single crochet, chain 1, single crochet, chain 1, whoopsies, single crochet, if I can get it in there right, single crochet, chain 1, single crochet, chain 1, single crochet, chain 1. I guess I did quite a few stitches. Single crochet. We're getting to the end here. Single crochet, chain 1, single crochet, chain 1. Now, the previous row, I have, when you get to the end of the row, I'm going to do 2 turning chains. So they're right here. Normally you would insert your hook here, but I don't like that because it doesn't give it a clean finished look. So I actually kind of jam it in between, more towards the edge, as much towards the edge as I can. Okay, so it's not quite in that center section, it's more on the edge, and I do my single crochet. All right, so now I'm actually going to, oops. So now I'm going to actually join my white yarn I've snipped off a nice long tail of this purple. Okay, here's my white. I've done my 2 rows of purple, but you can see how nice it looks in here. And these 2 ends right here, I'm going to end up weaving those in yet. And of course, I'll still have some extra to snip off. All right, and again, I like a nice long amount. All right, I'm gonna take my hook out of here. I'm gonna pull this loop back. Okay, now I'm gonna insert my hook back again and bring my white in it. This is how I do it. And then okay, now I have to turn the work without knocking over the camera. Give me a moment. I'm still holding this. Okay. So this is my long yarn. So I haven't tightened anything up yet. I'm going to do 2 chains. Okay, now that kind of helps it be a little bit snug. I bring my purple, or actually it's orchard, I think they called it, forward, and my white forward. And I bring these both up, pull them a little bit snug, because now I'm going to crochet over them. In here is that chain 2 spot from the previous row, but I'm also catching those 2 strands of yarn. Now I'm going to do my single crochet, chain 1, and I'm going to continue on now, just like I would otherwise, but I'm just making sure that I catch those 2 strands of yarn, and I'll do it for, 4 or 5 inches. It's a lot easier when it drops off. You don't have to worry about crocheting over them. And again, you saw how I had to pull it the previous row. That just helps it lay smoother and nicer. Right now, I'm not worrying about how tight it is as far as the yarn that I'm crocheting over, because I'm going to fix that when on my return row. I got to make sure I'm getting in between here. I did not. See, I messed that up. You got to make sure. Sometimes it's a little bit hard to see on the darker colors, but right there is the bottom 2 stitches or threads from my previous row. So I go in between though. In between, like there's 2 stitches here, 2 stitches here. So I had messed that up. Okay, that's probably long enough. Now I pull them to the back, and now I can just continue on crocheting. So it's the single crochet and chain 1. And as you can see, this is something that you can do as you're watching TV, sitting in a doctor's office, wherever you might be. But it really goes fast. You really kind of, after a little while, it's one of these patterns that you really don't have to think much about. And these are the kind that I love working on. When I get to the other side, I'll get to the other side, and then I'll turn it, and I'll chain 2, and I'll start back the other way. And when I get back the other way, then I'll be pulling these snug, and I'll be crocheting over the top. And then after I do that, I'll snip off a long piece of white, and then I'll be adding the lavender. And I'm using the full 3 skeins of yarn for this pattern. But I think it turned out, I don't know, I think it turned out kind of a modern look baby blanket. So I hope that you have a chance to make one of your own. And again, I thank you for watching. And if you'd like to be kept up on patterns that are coming out often, please subscribe to the channel. And of course, I also have an email newsletter that's available. You can sign up for free on my website, patternprincess.com. Either way, I hope that I've inspired you to crochet and make something beautiful. Have a wonderful day.